All right. Kat is here, though. She brought toys.
What's up, Kat?
She brought a whole hip.
Now, here's the thing. Kat's part of the physical therapy mafia that actually runs Peterson.
Mafia.
Part of the mafia.
One of our best auditors.
How many people are in that mafia? Because you guys.
Oh my
We
gosh.
just hired a whole bunch. Well,
I
not
thought
just.
nurses ran the show, but really it's the PT people and the occupational therapists people, and
It's all the three. We got a.
yeah.
Is there an equal amount of the inpatient as well as the outpatient?
No,
I'm not
outpatient
even sure.
definitely has more
Yeah.
PTs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have 3 OTs. I don't even know how many people we have now. I walk in because I've been gone from the department in my new position for about a year, and I walk in and I don't know people.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to be up there working up there when
Right, because
that's how I got started.
Yeah, you got started. You were the marketing person for that group.
Yeah, now when I walk up there on the 3rd floor, it's like I think I only know a couple of the people that originally were up there because they just move around and they go from, inpatient to outpatient, outpatient to inpatient, or they go to home health. So it's like they're just,
Yeah.
so
right.
it's a shuffle.
I like it when people who are new on the show and they don't know anything about the show and they come on for the first time and they're like,
What's going on here?
They're like, what's going on here?
Squirrel.
And I tell them things like, you guys are in the mafia, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
how'd
but
you
guys,
know?
You run the show.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna get healthy, if you're gonna get out of the hospital, PT's gonna help you out.
Yeah.
And the nurses are like, you're tired of seeing me. Wait till the PT comes in to see you.
Don't forget, you got more than just PT. You got your PT, OT, and speech, and they're all 3 going to hammer you.
They're all gonna. hammer you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then they're not going to cut you no slack. So, yeah.
I think the bravest people though are really the OT people, the occupational therapy,
Why?
because they drag you into the bathroom.
yeah.
You will clean yourself.
yeah.
Here's how you do it. Rub your body with soap. Good. Well done. You did it. And I think it takes a special person to want to teach somebody how to do things again. I mean, to me, like I'm always fascinated. Like, how did you? All right, so Kat, like, you were a teacher.
I was a teacher, taught
Like-
high school,
What did you teach?
agriculture
Where?
in Arizona. I was a shop
Where?
teacher outside of Phoenix.
What school? I want to know.
Asha. Asha High School.
Okay. And you taught shop.
I taught shop and animal science.
And so you were like, you had the FFA kids,
I did.
and you had you used to have your little coat and stuff from the FFA.
So I was never in the FFA.
Okay.
I grew up in a city, and we didn't have.
You
it at
grew
high
up in a
school.
city.
I did.
Yeah.
I grew up in Tucson, which, I mean, we have 1 million people. It's a city, right?
Yeah. Tucson's can be fairly. You can get rural there in a hurry though.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
But my school was not. So
I mean, there's more agriculture. That stretch. People forget it. Like Arizona is really a pretty big agricultural state, though.
lettuce capital of the world,
Is it really? Oh, interesting.
Wow.
because we have more growing seasons.
Yeah, you have more growing seasons. Yeah, absolutely. So you get lettuce all over the place, and among other things. Yeah,
We do a lot of cotton.
a lot of cotton. Yeah, a lot of cotton, especially in kind of western Arizona. And so you what got you out of teaching? Teaching?
Yeah,
The kids
pretty much.
and
No,
their parents.
it wasn't the kids.
It's the parents.
Some of it is the parents.
Yeah.
Agriculture and FFA is a very intense
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And there was just, some things, but education in Arizona is very different than other places.
Right. So you grew up in Tucson. Are you a U of A fan then?
I have a couple of degrees from U of A,
Okay.
so I'm a Wildcat fan.
You're a
through and
Wildcat
through.
fan. You're
Yeah.
wearing your red today, so there you go. And then you got here.
I did.
How did you get here?
So my brother moved here and started having babies.
So
with
you
his
followed
wife,
him.
So I followed him.
Followed him. What does your brother do?
He's a physician.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's in charge of stuff.
He is in charge of.
Things.
Stuff.
Things. What is he a physician of?
He's a psychiatrist.
Oh boy. You know
Those
what?
things.
There are not enough of those here.
There
it
are
turns
No,
out.
there's not.
There's not enough physicians here or psychiatrists here in town. And by the way, Bobby Kennedy wants to take away your SSRIs, and I'm opposed to that. So he wants to get rid of Diet Coke and Zoloft.
Yeah.
No, stop it.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And so then you followed him here, and so you're now in Texas. And how you like it?
It's different. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't like it, but I'm directionally challenged here because
Yeah.
we don't have mountains. It's very confusing.
Isn't it
for me.
weird? Yeah.
And I don't like that the state is like 18 hours big.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
You can't just get somewhere quick.
Yeah.
Although,
no.
I Tucson, when I drive to California, Tucson is kind of my stopping point. I've discovered the Inn of the Desert.
Okay. Yep.
And which is a great bargain and a nice facility. So it's a nice stopping point as I continue my drive. Although I've driven from here to Phoenix in one day.
Yeah, I have
without really any issue. So, and that's kind of nice as well. But yeah, I mean, so it is a long. But yeah, that stretch from here to El Paso is impossibly long.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
You forget what day it is.
You do.
Yeah.
When you're there.
Well, then the time changes at some point. So either you lose an hour, you pick up an hour. So
Yeah, I haven't figured out that part either because Arizona doesn't change except for on our reservations.
Yeah.
So
oh man,
Yeah.
you can totally.
Oh my gosh.
You can totally get confused when you're on a reservation in there. So anyway, so you get out of teaching and you go back to school to become a physical therapist, occupational therapist. So even braver. And then you get here and you spend some time here and you decide I want to do joints.
Yeah. So I've always been pretty heavily involved with our joint program.
Yeah.
And so when the position became available, I said, let's do this. And now I work kind of behind the scenes a little bit more.
Right.
I do talk with all the patients and phone calls and stuff, but a little less of the therapy side and a little more of the coordinating side for the joints. So
when you need a new knee or shoulder or hip, what is most common, hip or knees?
Knees are by far the most common.
Yeah.
Shoulders are starting to come up and come in, but I think it's because we've replaced all the hips and knees at this point.
Yeah. Right.
running out of those.
So we've seen definitely an increase in shoulders. So
Remember though, back in the day though, when people got their hips replaced, like it was like this sort of traumatic thing. Now it's like they throw you out. They throw you out of the hospital that day, right?
we don't throw you out. But yes, they are considered same day surgeries.
They roll you out.
So we do keep some people, but we roll you out.
We roll you out.
I've said this before on the show, but I'll say it again. I had gallbladder surgery, removal surgery several years ago in the hospital I was at. I mean, I feel like they threw me out.
Yeah.
Like they were like, you got to go home now. And I'm puking and they're like pushing me out the thing and I'm still puking. And
This was not Peterson.
no, it was not Peterson.
Just want to make sure we clarify that.
It was a Catholic hospital, which I think sort of tracks, So they're like, oh, well, you're not the Pope, so you're out of here.
You're not the Pope.
I had good insurance too. I had oil company.
Sure?
Yeah, I had oil company insurance too, and they still threw me out. All right, so knees and hips.
Knees and hips. Shoulders.
That's like you have the surgery and then you go home.
Yeah, I mean,
But shoulders are pretty. I've heard people have had shoulder replacement surgery, and that's a pretty big surgery.
It is. So from our patients, I would say shoulders are probably the hardest recovery because you're immobile for a week and a half, which can be very difficult. And then knees swell a lot, so that's probably the next one.
Right.
And then hips typically do really well.
Right.
There's still some precautions and things like that, but the way that the joint works, it's a lot easier. Not so much swelling as you have with the knee.
Yeah,
so.
right. And people, of all ages now are getting hip replacements and knee replacements, and I guess I might have to get one at some point during my life, But
I know some surgeons for you.
I know. I don't want to do it though. I don't want to do. My mother's
People
gonna have
say that they wish they did it earlier because they just feel such relief.
My mother's doing it in end of March.
103.
No, my mother.
Oh, your mother, not your grandmother. Hello.
Yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Grandmother.
Pay attention.
Yeah,
I know,
grandmother-
right?
Grandmother would be like, yeah, whatever.
I missed the grand part.
So, my mother's doing it though, and so she's all nervous about it. But I said, why?
She'll be all right.
She'll be fine.
Yeah.
She just likes to complain, and she's a nurse too, so she's. All right, what did you bring with us today? What are you going to show us today?
So Peterson is always really good about staying up to date with new technology. So we have a new AI system.
I'm going to move Libby's camera here.
Cool.
So I can see this little thing here.
So we have something called OrthoGrid that we just started with. We're actually one of the first places in Hill Country, and I think the closest place that has it is Dallas. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So it's a new
We
AI.
just quoted you on that. But
I know. Dang it.
AI.
You may quote it.
It's a
We may
new
quote it, but we won't hold it.
AI imaging system that we
Okay,
have.
right.
So this is your pelvis, and your hip joint kind of sits in like this.
Yeah.
So when they are doing surgery, they can replace a whole bunch of parts. So this comes out. I'm not gonna be able to.
Oh wow. So that's the metal. That's like the metal part. Yeah.
So this
okay.
is the socket,
Yeah.
and then you get a liner,
Yeah.
and then you have a stem with the ball.
Okay.
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 So there's a lot of moving parts for this. That does not happen.
Yeah. Right.
So when they're putting the hip in, there's a lot of things that we can adjust and fix. So what used to happen is that we would take an x-ray and we would look at the pelvis side by side to look at both hip joints to see if they lined up and see if this cup was in correctly and things like that. So with our new ortho grid, it's all done by AI and it's on a computer screen, so we can get even more precise than what we were doing before. So it's really cool. And for us to be really the first place in Hill Country, first place in San Antonio that has it, is pretty huge. And that's a testament to Peterson and wanting to do what's best for our patients.
Right.
So.
Right. So the AI really helps you get the accuracy down.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Because before, weren't they doing like the hand math?
Yeah, so really and truly, they would take 2 x-rays and they would print them and then they would overlay each other.
Yeah.
So now they just get the whole visual at one time. They can move things while they're doing the x-rays to make sure it's exactly where it needs to be and then press fit it in.
Wow.
That's cool.
And then this is good forever. You don't have to have it replaced or anything ever.
So the new hips are lasting 30, 35 years, roughly, is what we were hearing.
Right.
They've changed a whole lot of things. So you'll hear from people that had them 20 years ago.
Right.
Like, it's metal and metal. It's not, because that can release things into the body and the bloodstream that we don't want. So there's a poly liner and a ceramic head and some metal parts in there. So.
And this is pretty much a pretty common thing now. Libby, you might have to have this done at some point because you're a dancer.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, that's not going to happen to me.
Yeah,
Not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
But
When you get to be that age and you start gimping because your stuff hurts, you'll change your mind.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know this absolutely terrifies me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the reality for a lot of people. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not terrifying when you get to that point in your life that everything hurts and you're like, I just want some relief.
Exactly.
And, when you hear how much more advanced things are, it's such a relief to know, okay, I'm not going to be down for weeks or months at a time.
Exactly.
And to know that you can actually feel so much relief of pain that you can get up and walk out of the hospital the same day. You essentially, that pain is like, okay, just do what you have to do to make me better.
Well, it shortens your life too. I mean, if you think about this too, people who just become immobile like that, it just shortens your life. And you're like, I'm not going to get up.
Exactly.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And that's when stuff happens, sets in, and things like that. So,
well, and when you're in pain, your blood pressure increases and your body responds. And if you're in that kind of pain for that long, your body can't handle having such an intense blood pressure and things of that nature. So, yeah, you decrease your lifespan until you realize, oh, I can get this, and I'm going to be feeling better instantly, and then. Get your life back.
We have patients that have used to be with us when we would hold them for 2 to 3 days, and they're loving the model of going home same day. Obviously, we do still keep people if we need to for safety, but they like getting home and sleeping in their own bed, and this system helps us do that, not faster because we're already doing it really well, but just it increases the likelihood of it being more precise.
Hey, Andrew Gay, are you? Why don't you unmute your microphone and talk to us for a second? Hey, can we hear you? No, can't hear you.
How long have y'all had this system?
I'm gonna have to call you, Andrew. Hold on a second.
We've had the system for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
So it's very, very new to us, but it's been a year in the making for us to get it to the hospital because things don't ever move quickly, which is fine because we have to do all our research. But it's been phenomenal and awesome, and it's so much fun. I get to go in and see surgeries, which perk of the job. And to see how they're doing it now is fascinating. So I don't know. Peterson really does pride themselves on bringing in the newest technology and doing things in order to help our patients. And since we're still, sorry, Darren, the fall capital of Texas.
Absolutely. And those numbers are shocking, by the way.
It's shocking. Crazy.
But the system helps with our fractures too. So it's not just people coming in for replacements, but it's for, individuals that have fallen due to snow flurries when it's 18 degrees outside. Be careful. Please don't trip today.
Luckily, there is no ice, but that still doesn't matter. Yeah. I did contribute to that.
Did you?
Fall
Did
number,
you fall?
by the way.
Did you?
Well, back when I first moved here, I fell and broke my leg. And that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at, because I went to a freestanding therapy clinic after it was all said and done, and I had no idea that Peterson had such a robust therapy program.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that story.
when I found out that they were looking for a marketing position, I was like, wait, what? They have they need me because I had no clue.
They need
me.
Yeah.
So that's why therapy services will always be in my wheelhouse because,
That's my biggest fear is falling at home. And I live by myself, so it's one of those like, I almost fell this morning. So
make sure you keep your phone on you all the time.
I fell out once out here.
Yeah.
Just coming down. I going down the stairs.
Aren't you so excited to get older? I know.
Dude, I fell when I was your age. What are you talking about?
Speaking of getting older, Andrew Gay has been waiting patiently on the phone. Andrew, what's going on in the economy?
Good morning, Louis. Yeah, well, to the point of longevity and health, one of the things that we see a lot in our industry, in our line of work, is people that end up spending a lot of some of their retirement savings on healthcare costs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of that can be mitigated on the front end when you're working with an advisor from a planning perspective, whether you're talking about long-term care policies or just making sure that you're doing something like using an HSA to get tax-deferred growth to try to mitigate spending some of your retirement savings on healthcare costs in our later years. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's a really big deal.
Look at you.
Andrew knows what's going on.
As far as the economy, Andrew Gay here, independent financial advisor with Texas Hill Country Advisors. We offer securities and investment advisory services through Next Financial Group, member FINRA, SIPC. So we're kind of light on economic data. We got some stuff coming out between now and the end of the month, but really what markets are going to be waiting for on the economic front is the second metric that we get every single month for inflation, and that is PCE, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred metric of inflation. And that is due at the end of the month. And it's been lower than CPI, which is the one that was hotter than anticipated, that went back up to 3% that we just got recently. So this will be the same time period, but a different measure of inflation that the Fed actually prefers. So we'll see what that has in store for us towards the end of the month. Other than that, there's still some earnings going on in the background. Markets were relatively flat yesterday, at least the equity markets or stock markets. But this morning, all three major U.S. indexes are down slightly. Yields are up. The 10-year U.S. Treasury is still sitting slightly above 4.5%. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what's going on. Other than watching policy headlines and other narrative that feeds into the inflation story, that's really what's got financial markets' attention right now.
And then Elon Musk, he's raising money for Twitter apparently, or X, whatever the hell he calls it.
And it apparently had a valuation that was what he bought it at.
$44 billion.
How many years ago?
Yeah. $44 billion.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Did you see, by the way, that they're now not sure if the Social Security stuff was true or not? The millions of old people that they thought they were there because of they didn't understand the data.
I literally right before I picked up the phone for you, I was looking at an article that the headline was something about that, and I have not read it yet. So not too well versed on some of that yet.
Right.
But it's interesting, it's like Social Security was kind of thought to be on the chopping block next for those and to be talked about, but We'll see what comes. We'll see what comes of that. I definitely think there's going to be more talk about Social Security.
I'm starting to see people who got laid off from the Doge layoffs. Who are posting on LinkedIn, or I'm seeing things being shared on LinkedIn. It's really interesting to see who they're laying off. It's just there's a lot of it's probationary employees. That's the easiest thing to do when you do a layoff, is that you basically, you were the last person here. Bye bye. That's easy. That's the why you do it. But there's a lot of experienced people, and they've made mistakes already. Like they got rid of all the H1, the bird flu people. They got rid of all those folks. Got rid of the nuclear people. So we'll see how this is going. So anyway, interesting stuff.
And I think the way the financial markets look at that, is they'll be looking at it's that growth or recession fear versus inflation fear. And so if layoffs are happening in the public sector, financial markets are going to interpret that there might be an uptick in unemployment over the next 6 to 12 months or whatever as that seeps into the economy. If those jobs are not absorbed in the private sector, then that could switch us out of an inflation concern currently more towards like a recession or an economic slowdown concern if unemployment starts to rise, which is why the Fed and investors and market participants watch that stuff so closely.
All right, Andrew. Good job as always. Good to see you. I got to come by and say hello to you guys at some point here. So
yeah, you do, and we'll see if we can. I'll tinker with my stuff. But yeah, you need to come. You need to come check it out and hang out with us. See our new place.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Have a good show.
Later.
Bye.
Looking at the model that Kat has there.
Cat's moving it on you.
Cat's
I am
moving
moving
it.
it.
Yeah. Libby, you think you could put that thing together now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it together.
It's an easy puzzle.
It's an easy puzzle
Yeah.
as well. How long does that surgery take now?
So it can take anywhere from an hour to like 3 hours, just
Okay.
depending on how much arthritis and exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
But typically about an hour and a half is
Is
average.
where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. So that's the hip though.
That is the hip.
How long for the shoulder though?
Same, about
Same
an hour and a half.
yeah.
Yeah.
Knee,
About an hour and a half.
about an hour and a half. A good nap. You'll be
It is
out.
a good
It's a
nap.
good
Oh,
nap.
yeah.
Yeah. Is it done in the surgery center or done in the main hospital?
So we're still in the main hospital.
Okay.
Because that gives us the opportunity if we do need to keep somebody overnight that we can.
Right.
And
And
then we don't have to transfer
increasingly
people.
rare these days, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
it
the-
is.
So, as a joint coordinator, though, like, what is your primary, like, what does your day look like? You just scheduling surgeries or working on therapy? How does that work? What does that look like?
It's a little different every day, but Monday and Tuesday are heavy surgery days. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm typically back with the OR staff and PACU and pre-op. But I'm making a lot of phone calls, touching base with patients a lot. I teach the classes, help coordinate new programs and things that are up and coming for our patients. So
Yeah.
like we have prehab potentially coming. Well, not potentially. We do have
Oh
prehab
yeah.
coming.
Oh yeah, that's a cool program.
What is that?
So go ahead. I'll let you.
Prehab is
I get all excited.
so. As therapists, we say that motion is lotion.
Yeah.
Take that as you want.
Right.
But
Well, that's the truth. I mean, the minute you lose motion, right,
Yeah.
Libby, Libby's like, I'm going.
I was like, I'm out of here.
You're cold. You're freezing.
Motion moving is important.
It is.
Walk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
walk,
Right.
But
right.
when you're in pain, you don't want to do that. So we
See, Libby's in pain right now.
I'm getting because I'm cold.
Yeah, I know. She's freezing.
Space heater.
I know.
I know, like I got my hands wrapped up in my jacket.
I'm like a little furnace today.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
But basically, before surgery, because we're scheduling 3 to 5 weeks out,
Right.
sometimes longer. But it's an opportunity to work with our therapists and our physical trainers at the Center for
the wellness
the
center.
Wellness.
Right.
That's not right.
Right.
To do rehab beforehand. Because if you can go into these surgeries at your healthiest, then you can come out and just continue.
Right.
And we want you to get back to doing all the things that you want. So if you're immobile before, we're helping to get those joints back into action, basically.
Okay. All right.
I
so
like that approach.
that's
It's kinda
great.
cool. Yeah, it's really exciting.
helpful. So much to do, so much to keep in. If you think you might have an issue though, like what should you do? I mean, if you have knee pain, should you keep working out or doing things or staying
So-
mobile?
You can, but we say typically if that motion is hurting you to the point where you don't want to do it anymore,
Yeah.
either do it less,
Right.
reduce the weight. But you can also just go see one of the orthopedics.
Okay.
We do have 4 amazing ones in town. So if you can get in, because if it's really debilitating, there might be something else going on there, and it might not just be muscles or ligaments. It could be the bones. So get them to take a look at it. But we don't want you to stop working out, but we also want you to make sure that you're not in
Gonna
so much
further
pain
hurt
that you're going to
yourself.
further yourself. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good deal. What about Darren though? What do you need about that guy? What about that guy?
What about him?
We love Darren.
How are you gonna like help him win his Christmas light decoration contest?
We just need to.
We
yeah.
do.
Yeah, we just need to like post stuff all over the place.
I know.
For Darren.
He did
for
mine this year. Maybe he'll
Did
like
he?
make
Did he
mine.
really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
hired him. It was great. He came and
he's
took him
blowing and
down.
going.
Yeah.
Man, he's doing good.
I know.
I love
Well,
it.
he's super tall, so he has an advantage.
Yeah, he just has to reach up.
I know.
He didn't need a ladder to take mine down.
I know. I know. He's like 10 feet tall, so of course he can put things together. Yeah, he's delightful.
Yeah, he is.
He does a great job.
It's an amazing staff over there at Peterson. So
Well, and I'm going to put a plug in. So we're talking about hip replacement, knee replacement, but the way that you can stay active is going to the 5K.
Hey,
Right.
here's that 5K
Right.
again.
transition.
Transition.
right.
So
Do
The
it.
5K. So make sure that you're there at the trailhead, 9 o'clock. You can actually still register. There's plenty of opportunity. Go to athletesguild.com and you can register. It's It's $35 for adults, and I think kids are free. Actually,
I have
and bring bring all your peeps, bring your pets, and if it's too chilly, just layer and walk faster or run faster.
Yeah.
So that way you can get to the end and get your pot of
soup.
hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Baseline leggings.
Yeah.
I will be there to
Wear the
take
leggings.
photos of this, and
So
then I
excited,
will.
yes.
We'll have a live. We're going to do a live video package or a show from a pot of hot on Saturday morning before things get started. We'll have all the soup makers talking to us about things.
Awesome.
fun.
We're going to have a lot of heart health stuff,
Yeah.
information out there too. So be sure that you get some information on what you can do to,
Probably
preventative maintenance, that sort of thing. And
Probably avoid like the sticky, heavy soups.
yeah,
Maybe
Just
just the
in
broth.
moderation, everything in moderation.
Yeah,
But just
Right.
the broth soup.
the broth. soups. Yeah,
No stews.
Bring
are
your
you saying?
filters.
Sticky
Yeah.
stews.
Just-
no stews.
Let's do it.
Nothing heavy. Nothing with gluten.
Yeah, make sure you
No.
do that.
Nothing with
after.
eggs.
Nothing with eggs.
Yeah,
Do they make soup with eggs other than egg drop soup?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Surely
Ooh,
they
but
do.
like a fried egg on top of like a bowl of chili.
Oh, that's kind of
Oh, that's
Never thought of
that's
that.
toxic. That's toxic for Kat.
Yeah.
Everyone's
yeah.
got their toxic.
Chili in Texas is weird too.
It is.
What you mean?
I thought chili was like the thing in Texas, and it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal anymore.
Well, I
You
just
start
can't
to-
figure it out. We do a lot of white chilies.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
are not a thing.
I love
Yeah.
white
I don't
chili
know.
too. Stuff's
Oh,
good.
you're from Arizona. You
good.
guys call burritos burros, which
No,
is
we
weird.
don't. We call it burritos. Burro is like a donkey, but okay.
Burrows a dump.
Put a donkey in yours too.
Tucson, by the way, is the home of the chimichanga.
It is.
It was invented in
Well,
accidentally, allegedly.
kind of, yeah, allegedly.
allegedly.
That's the room.
But
That's the
Prescott
ro-
is the rodeo capital of the, like they had their first rodeo or something.
Really? In Prescott.
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 It's up by Flagstaff.
Prescott's lovely. It's a beautiful little city.
It's super cute.
All right. Not as cool as Jerome, but it's still
Jerome
cool.
is cool
Yeah.
too. I mean, we have a lot in Arizona. I'm not going to totally plug Arizona because we do live
She's
in
plugging
Texas,
Arizona.
but you can go from like aqua, like water, all the way up to snow in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
in
not
Texas.
18.
Yeah, not
She
18.
does have a point. She does have a point. It takes forever.
You
to
can be
get
on the
anywhere.
lake in the morning and snowboarding at night. So.
I
But you can
was,
spend 18 hours following the coast and water all day long in Texas. So,
right.
Stop at all the
Mountains.
beaches.
But that
Wonder what
includes
kind of stroke you
that.
like.
That goes to that
Right,
means
yeah.
you have to go to Galveston, right? Which apparently, according to Charles Barkley, the water's gross.
It is. I used to live in North Houston, and we would try to avoid Galveston.
Yeah.
The humidity there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
humidity's bad.
Yeah.
I have not been to the Texas coast yet.
What?
I've been here 5 years and I've been. I don't like leaving Kerrville.
Well, wow.
I'm a creature of Kerrville now.